I'm Noirin Shirley. I'm the Vice President of the Apache Software Foundation with responsibility for conferences and events. And I'm also a committer on the HTTPD Docs project and a member of the HTTPD Project Management Committee. I got involved in the Apache Software Foundation about 4 or 5 years ago now. And initially I got involved in a sense to help out a friend who was already a committer and already, in fact, a member of the Project Management Committee for HTTPD. He was writing new code and sort of trying to document the code, but didn't have perhaps the writing skills to make the documentation as good as it could be. And I have a bit of a perfectionist streak, and started initially editing his docs before they were ever submitted, and then started, doing submissions in my own name, also doing some translation work, and then moved on eventually to working on documentation completely unrelated to what Colin was working on. I think I had a somewhat unusual start in the Apache community because from the very first moment I got involved, I had essentially a mentor. There was never any formalized mentoring relationship, but I was already from the very beginning working with somebody who was involved, who knew what was going on. And I think that probably made it, I don't think there's any probably, that certainly made it easier to get involved and to stay involved and to hurdle those initial barriers. It's a very scary thing to send out your first patch, your first new work, a translation, and not to know, how will this be received? I had certainly had several instances where I would send in a suggestion and then silence, sometimes for weeks on end, and it's difficult to know in that situation, should I drop it? Should I just, am I wasting people's time? Or should I push it and maybe they just have gotten distracted? And where to go from there. And so it was helpful to have somebody who was able to guide me through and say, if you haven't heard after a week or two, send a ping. And just to do that sort of initial, here's where the door is, and now you can come into the clubhouse. Mm-hmm.